And welcome to Morons Mince Movies. I am your host, Moron Sam Munoz, and I'm here with my fellow moron, Ublester Peñalosa II. And today, Ublester, we're talking about a classic, a real classic, one of the greatest movies that has ever been made in the history of cinema. It's The Godfather.
Bridges of Madison County. Godfather. Godfather is the one we're talking about today.
Yes.
Fucking Sam, I mean, I guess go into a little bit about this movie, how I came about watching this.
No, well, because you are one of the poor souls that hadn't watched this movie about a month ago, right?
I'd say about a month ago.
Yeah, about a month ago. And I told you have to fucking watch this movie.
I made it 38 years of my life without ever watching The Godfather movies.
And you know...
Part 1, Part 2, or Part 3. But I also made it without spoilers. Despite all of the big pop culture references, no spoilers.
Which we cannot say about our producer today, who's about to get all the spoilers he has ever made. Yeah. You know, I want you on the mic, honestly. Yeah. Because I feel like you need to just pick
that up,
turn that on,
hold it in your hand.
Because we want you to be responding to what we're about to say. Because here's something, Uble, that I need to tell you.
Test.
Test.
There you go.
There you go. We hear you. Yeah. You can put on one of those
fancy earpieces.
Yeah. There we go. Noel, our producer, you're gonna hear his voice. You won't see his face. He doesn't want to be on the camera.
He's legally not allowed to be showing his face.
Here is a man. So Uble, I just have to say, I've always believed that a man cannot ever be known as a real man if he hasn't seen The Godfather.
I see what you did there. And a little twist on the word of the movie. Gosh, I hope that happens a lot.
And he has no idea what the hell we're talking about. He has no idea.
No.
I just made a fantastic reference. Yeah. And he has no idea because he's never seen The Godfather.
But I am a godfather.
And as a godfather, you should have seen The Godfather, you son of a bitch.
I thought that was something of a requirement. Before you can be a godfather to anybody, they require you to watch The Godfather.
I think even the Catholic Church tells you, like, have you seen The Godfather?
Yeah.
And then if
they
you
say
no,
El Padrino. Padroni.
Has visto El Padrino.
So, I mean, I don't feel like I had to say it. This movie came out in what, 72? It just celebrated 50 years.
Yeah, 50 years. That's right.
So
50 years at 72.
Al Pacino's first cinematic movie?
No, he had other movies beforehand, but it was his breakout performance.
This one was the one that put him on the map.
Yeah. He was an unknown actor at the time. In fact, if you've seen The Offer, which is a TV show that's on Paramount Plus that I highly recommend, it goes into what happened behind the scenes, but they had to fight tooth and nail to get Al Pacino to play Michael Corleone in this movie, and because he was such an unknown, and the big wigs in the studio were like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
They're like, "Why don't you go get this?"
Robert Redford, I think they wanted. I forget who else they wanted,
What's
but
his name.
I think Jack Nicholson might have been like talked about. But now he's a fucking giant star, and he wouldn't be a giant star. And of course, James Caan, who was already, he actually just died at the point that we recording it. He died 2 days ago, I believe. Yeah. And so that's one of the main reasons why we're doing The Godfather, not just because it's the 50th anniversary, but because we wanted to honor James Caan, who just passed. Yeah. And
you might know him if you haven't seen The Godfather as Buddy's dad in the movie Elf. That is the great James Caan.
Yes. That was the highlight of his career.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's legendary. The Godfather backseat. Elf is where most people know
the guy who played Santino Corleone, the hothead of the family.
Opposite Marlon Brando and
Marlon
Robert
Brando.
Redford.
No, Robert Redford was not in this movie.
No, not
Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall. There you go. The great cast.
I mean, it's a legendary cast. Yeah. Here's the thing, Noel. I have to say this because
that's right. You're still here.
Because I can forgive you might not have seen Casablanca because it's a movie from a time where the acting was a little different. The way stories were told was a little different. It's a little dated, but it's still a classic. It's a great movie that you should watch, but I can forgive it. I can forgive not seeing Citizen Kane. I can forgive a lot of other movies not being seen.
Air Bud 1.
Airbud. But
I've seen Airbud.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
How the hell have you seen Airbud?
But you haven't
but
seen
not
Godfather.
seen The Godfather. Here, The Godfather is still good to this day. Like people who like, have a different culture than I have, like young people can watch The Godfather and be like, holy shit, that's fucking awesome.
So
this is a movie that's fucking awesome, dude.
And see, this is how I can confirm what Sam is saying and when he's saying that it's awesome is one of the reasons why I hadn't watched it. I mean, trust me, I've heard everyone and their mother talk about how great this fucking movie is, and in my head I was like, you guys set the bar too high. Expectations way too fucking high. I'm gonna walk into this movie thinking it's a fucking masterpiece, and I'm gonna be severely disappointed. So now I'm just not gonna watch it, and that might be your mentality.
I think that's what's going on with Noel. Yeah.
It might just be the fact that you want to be the black sheep, the cool, like I haven't seen The Godfather, and I'm black cool. That's he is, but it might be because of that. But I can tell you right now is the bar that everyone has set by talking about how great this movie is still far below what you're gonna experience. Like, you're gonna fucking watch this movie and you're gonna say, holy shit, this movie's way better than fucking Dumb and Dumber 2 or something. I don't know what millennials have watched, but it's a fucking great movie.
It is a great movie. And is it because it insists upon itself? Is that the problem?
Is that why?
I think Uble hit it on the head. Is everybody likes it, and I just.
So you're afraid?
No.
You're afraid.
I just don't.
You're afraid to hate it.
I've seen Goodfellas. It's a good movie. Great movie. I assume it's exactly like that movie, right?
It's not.
Your assumption is completely wrong.
Oh, damn it.
And
it's different.
From The Offer, which again we're gonna bounce back and forth from The Offer, you learn the fucking challenges that the producer and the director went through to make this movie. So it makes you appreciate it even more. And they even talk about how there was a huge pushback in creating The Godfather because the Italian culture
didn't want it to happen. They
thought it was gonna make them look bad. They were like, we don't need another movie portraying us Italians as the dirty mafia that's out killing people. And they had to approach it in a way that it made the Italian population say, okay, if you really are going to portray us Italians truthfully as family oriented and loyal and just fucking, rambunctious group of people, then do it.
Can I ask this, Noah? What do you know about the movie? Because it's difficult to escape certain things. Like, I'll make you an offer I can't refuse. Yeah. I mean, that's...
You come to me on my wedding day. My daughter, the day of my daughter's wedding.
Yeah.
I ruined that one.
Yeah, you fucked it up.
Fucked it up horribly.
Those two quotes right there are everything I know about The Godfather.
The horse
that's
head.
All you know?
The horse head showing up in someone's bed.
No. You
don't know about that.
You already spoiled something. You already spoiled. Are we gonna spoil things for him?
Spoil this movie for Noel. Are you shitting me? It's a 50-year-old movie. If you have not seen this, I apologize.
Years. Yes.
I mean, it doesn't really
you know that there's a lot of death. There's like people being. I mean,
it's not brutal. It's not.
There's some brutal deaths. There's some brutal deaths.
There is, but it's not Goodfellas. It's not Goodfellas in the sense of like, hey, we can do whatever we want because we're in the mafia. We're gonna fucking do this and fuck you and kill you. It's more of like
it's really a movie about family.
It's a movie about family and respect and
like, you come to me and instead of you don't even call me Godfather.
And if I can add to that, Sam's amazing.
You can act like a man.
So it's also about family. It's about taking after your father's footsteps, and so a lot of people can relate to it in that sense. Is that the Godfather trilogy is more about
it's a tragedy. The whole Godfather trilogy is a tragedy of Michael Corleone, because it's
the rise and fall.
I don't want to spoil it.
I
don't want to spoil it because I don't want to ruin I don't want to ruin this experience for you, dude.
I'm not going to watch.
When I saw The Godfather, it's like if I seen the Beatles for the first time, dude. When I saw The Godfather, it was like it was a religious experience.
It was.
You know, like, when I saw The Godfather, it was like, you know, I believed in Jesus Christ, I think, and then I stopped believing.
Immediately after I saw part 3.
What grade do you give The Godfather?
That's an A+, man. It's an A++.
Sam, absolutely A++. A 10, a fucking 10.
When people ask me what's your favorite movie or what are your favorite movies, I always say, like, I can't give you my favorite movie, but here I'll give you a list. And The Godfather is always on that list. Like, it's usually the first one that comes up. You say like The Godfather, Forrest Gump, Dumb and Dumber, Braveheart, Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. Die Hard. And now Everything Everywhere All at Once is probably going to be on that list someday.
Really?
Absolutely it is. Yeah.
It's a great movie.
I'm with him.
Yeah. We have to mince that someday because I might cry on the podcast.
Yeah, when it comes to DVD. Yeah.
It's on. It's already on. It's already on. Yeah. But going back to The Godfather, it's just there's I mean, the iconic performance of Marlon Brando, I'm sure you've seen that. Like, doesn't that just looking at the images, doesn't that make you want to watch it?
More so looking at how often it's been referenced in pop culture. I mean, without you having to watch the movie, you already knew 2 of the lines that we read to you.
2 quotes.
I can read 5 more quotes to you, and you'll be like, "Oh no, shit, that's from Godfather."
What about
really?
Sleeps with the Fishes? Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's from The Godfather.
Okay, I've never seen a single clip of The Godfather.
Okay.
Only the quotes.
Exactly, because you've seen them elsewhere in pop culture.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm saying, is The Simpsons has referenced The Godfather at least fucking 10 times. At least. Like, to detail. And
every show you probably ever watched has referenced The Godfather in some sense.
Pretty sure.
I mean,
you watch NYPD Blue? Remember? With Jimmy Smits? They referenced The Godfather at one point. Yeah.
Family Guy, South Park.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Everybody has referenced The Godfather.
The Jetsons.
You have to watch it. You have to.
Won't.
You got to watch it.
Why,
what do I have to do? What do I have to do?
Okay.
There's nothing.
We're steering away from this. I feel like maybe reverse psychology. You know what? Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck
Don't
him.
watch that movie.
Let's just fucking go over the movie.
I forbid you from ever watching the Godfather movie or property or branch of the Godfather properties ever again. There.
Let's fucking just talk about the movie.
Yeah.
Fuck Noel. Let's spoil everything.
Spoilers all
Spoiler
the
alert
way.
right now to Noel and to the rest of you sane people out there who have seen The Godfather. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
I mean, what is your favorite part?
So as someone who has just recently watched it and recently experienced this roller coaster that is the tale of Michael Corleone, I would say it's his transition from wanting to be, because
he wants to be the good. He wants to be the legit man.
He doesn't want anything to do with his family at first, but he still respects them. He
loves his family.
He loves his family. But he doesn't want to continue in the line of work that they do. And yet somehow he ends up being the head of that family. He becomes what he
So your favorite part is the entire story, because that's the entire story of
But it's the transition. It's the transition. Anyone who has seen, and I think we're just
the favorite
doing
part,
all 3, or are we doing
just
part
the
1?
first one?
Okay, perfect.
At least we won't mess up. If we ever after this show, hopefully he'll be convinced to go watch the movie,
and we'll
mess up The Godfather, because The Godfather part 2 is another fucking masterpiece. And by the way, this won Best Picture by the Oscars. It won a best. I mean, The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2 won Best Picture. Anyway, whatever. That's
not
the best scene is the real. You know what the transition point is when he fucking shoots.
Yep.
So
he shoots
that's the best scene.
Officer. Yeah.
They're in the restaurant.
The way it was
that whole scene is a fucking masterwork of cinema.
I was so fucking nervous. So the beautiful thing is I was because. Again, having never have watched this movie, and knowing how other movies tend to like throw you with the curveball, where it's like, oh, maybe the people that he thought were loyal to him betrayed him, and they did. Oh, the curveball, you know. I expected something like that to happen in that scene. So for those of you who have seen this movie, know what I'm talking about. For those of you who have not, there's a attempt on the life of the Godfather, right? Played by
Vito Corleone,
Marlon
Brando.
But he survives, and so now they're like, we know who did it. They're asking for a chance to meet and kind of talk shit out. You know, let's figure this out and let's move on.
I thought we were gonna say fuck you to people who haven't seen it. Why do we have to explain?
No. I'm
what the story is going on.
You're right. So for the people that haven't seen it, that's all you get.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna have to watch the movie. But for those who have seen it, it gives you like at least for me, I wasn't sure if they were actually gonna plant the gun for him, or if
you think they're gonna betray him?
Legit was like, I could see that happening. I can be
and there was a point where you're just like, is the gun there? And he's like, and reaching, you find out, and he's like,
you find out from the TV
that
show
fucking
The Offer,
Francis Ford Coppola did that on purpose to get the real reaction from Al Pacino
and from the audience of like that nervousness, because that's where I think I was peak nervous. I was peak nervous when he walked into the restroom and looked for the gun, and you would expect in a Hollywood movie, first thing he reaches, he finds the gun. But in this scene, he's reaching and he has to go further back. And that's when I was thinking, holy shit, did they not plant the gun? Is he going to be fucking over his head?
He left him with his dick in his hand.
Exactly. But he finds the gun.
Another quote from The Godfather.
He finds the gun. He walks back out and just fucking point blank does the end with the two of them, and then you there's a hesitation.
And that's the best part, actually.
Yep.
Is the fact that he comes back and he sits down, because he's instructed to once he gets out, immediately shoot them and get the fuck out of there.
Drop the gun.
But he doesn't.
Drop the gun.
Yeah, he doesn't. He sits down and he's like, and then he
doesn't sit down.
He does sit down
after shooting them. He doesn't sit
down.
No,
when he comes back from the restroom, he sits down, and then God, I can't remember his name. Clemenza. No. Clemenza is the guy who sleeps with the fishes.
Clemenza's,
fuck. Whatever. Anyways, the guy is telling him, I was like, tu padre. Tu padre. And he's
they're
speaking
in Italian and there's no subtitles. So you have no idea what the fuck
Yeah, and then the fucking train sound that comes as it's going in, and the tension builds, and Al Pacino's eyes are going everywhere, and he's like, what am I going to do this? Yeah, because this is the transition. This is the point where he becomes... He leaves his old life where he wanted to be legit, like, veteran, war hero, have the wife and everything and all that stuff. And he fucking decides to be a part of the family. Yeah, and he gets up and kills the fucking two guys.
Yep.
And then he's supposed to drop the gun right away, but he doesn't. He goes and he drops the gun later on.
Like 2 or 3 steps, but those 10 seconds, because they make a point about repeating the instructions over and over in the movie. You shoot them, you drop the gun, you walk away. Say it to me again. You shoot them, you drop the gun. So as an audience member, you're watching him. You know what he's supposed to do. He shoots them, and in your head, you're saying, okay, this is the part where he drops the fucking gun. And he hesitates. And me as a viewer, I was like, drop the fucking gun. What are you doing? Get the fuck out of there. So I was the peak, like my heart was fucking racing. And then finally he drops it. It was just a few seconds. And I was like, that's fucking beautiful. I love how they did that.
It's beautiful. And then, that kind of shit just has to happen every 10 years or so. It gets rid of the bad blood. And
right? Oh, right. You don't know.
You don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, because you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You fucking loser. I mean, seriously, you're living your life like half. You're half living your life having not watched The Godfather.
You enjoyed the money pit.
Yeah,
that is my statement to that.
I don't understand. You should... Yeah. You should just kill yourself. I mean,
no.
I mean, maybe weed will save your life, but
no. Trust me, I lose no sleep over this.
You will.
You don't understand. Anyways, moving on. So
it goes from that, and then he has to move to Italy, and which I enjoyed.
He goes to Sicily, yes.
He goes to Sicily
because he's in hiding and whatnot. Yeah. But then we get all the stuff, what's going on with the family, because the war happens and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then we get, another one of my favorite scenes is Santino's death. So we're really spoiling this because this is the big thing that happens.
Santino played by
James Caan.
who also recently passed.
And I don't say that in a bad way.
Yeah.
No disrespect to James Caan.
No connection
but
whatsoever.
One of my favorite scenes from him is his death.
Yeah.
Which is fucked up. I mean, crazy. Honestly, fucked up.
Unforeseeable. For me, at least, I didn't expect it to happen that way.
Which is what I'm saying. When you were saying it wasn't brutal, that fucking scene is brutal, man.
It was really bad.
He gets fucking like
what
Bonnie and Clyde kind of fucking shot at. He gets destroyed.
The whole fucking car.
He destroyed.
Also, what's his name?
And while he's dead, they still fucking go up there. Just shoot him three more times.
It is brutal in that sense. Is that they do show those murders. But I mean, like, they don't show like anyone like fucking getting choked with like a fucking fishing string.
What are you talking about?
Oh no, wait, you're right. There was that one scene. Okay, let me rephrase that. They don't show someone getting their limbs chopped off with an axe. Right?
Yeah, they don't have that. Yeah.
But there are some pretty brutal scenes in this movie.
Someone gets shot in the eye.
I should say that I still have not seen part 3 of this movie.
You haven't?
Now, no, I haven't.
Now, everybody says, I have a thing again for part 3 because I actually really like part 3.
Yeah.
And everybody says that part 3 is no good. That's not everybody, but there's a contingent of people who love the Godfather movies who think that part 3 is not worth watching. And I disagree.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because part 3 really completes the tragedy of Michael Corleone. And what...
Oh, okay.
So if you've done any literature study about tragedies and like not just Shakespeare but like Oedipus Rex and things like, there's an archetype to Garfield very much. There's an archetype to the tragic hero, and the Godfather trilogy is an evolution, I would say, or a new way of looking at the tragic hero, in this case being Michael Corleone. He is a tragic hero it's an American tragedy, I would say. It's the tragic hero updated to the American culture, and that's what The Godfather is. And without The Godfather Part 3, you just don't get that completion. So you need The Godfather Part 3 to have that.
For sure I need it. So, and I wasn't quite sure. I guess I misunderstood, or maybe I there was miscommunication. But when people that I've spoken to, and you're not the only one, would tell me that Part 3 is not the best.
There's some bad acting.
Don't rush into part 3. See, I assumed
Sofia Coppola is terrible in it. That's
I don't know. Really, she's in it.
She's in it. That's Francis Ford Coppola's daughter. I mean, she's a decent director.
Spoilers.
She's done some.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
No, that's not a spoiler. She's in the movie. Then nothing happens. I mean, but
she doesn't get blown up or anything.
I don't want to say anything about that.
Don't say anything.
But
what I'm saying is,
the biggest complaint is her acting, which it is bad. And the story I think is fine. It's not the story problem. It's just the acting's a little on the bad side. Yeah.
And see, I guess that's what I was understanding is when people were saying it's no good, I felt like the story just fell apart, where characters maybe started acting out of character, or
I disagree with that.
Making stupid decisions. That's what I understood when people were saying don't bother watching part 3, or it's no good. It's not as good as the first 2. But if it's more of like just a quality of acting or maybe the pace, I can tolerate that. If the story ends up closing itself nicely.
I think without the Godfather Part 3, there's no resolution after the Godfather Part 2.
Wow.
I mean, what do you've seen the Godfather Part 2? There's no resolution. Things happen. I don't want to spoil that one.
Yeah.
But some pretty shitty things happen. Yeah. But you don't really know the end of Michael Corleone's story.
That's true.
And Michael Corleone's story ends in The Godfather Part 3.
Okay.
And that's where you get that closure of who is Michael Corleone. And it really defines what the Godfather trilogy is. And it, again, like I said, it's the American tragedy. Michael Corleone is a tragic hero. And it's beautiful in that sense to me. Yeah. That's why the Godfather trilogy is it's one of the greatest trilogies of all time. Better than the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Back to the Future trilogy, Star Wars trilogy. There is no trilogy like the Godfather trilogy. I'm telling you. I will die on that hill, goddammit. I will die on that hill.
We're talking about different genres like sci-fi and fucking drama, but yeah, as far as 3 movies go, I would say just based off of
just still need to watch it, so
just on the weight of part 1 and part 2. If part 3 ended up being a turd wrapped in a Godfather poster, I would still say that this is a solid trilogy because of the level of part 1 and part 2. So that's my praise.
There's some great lines in Godfather Part 3 too.
Yeah. No, I'm sure there is. I'm just saying part 1 and part 2 are so good that part 3 becomes irrelevant in the
Let's go back to the original Godfather, because I also want to talk to you about Marlon Brando, because you haven't really said much about him.
I can't imagine anyone else now or back then playing the Godfather.
Yeah, he's just he is Vito Corleone.
To find out that his approach was more of him being like, this is what I kind of want to look like. This is what I imagine this character looking like. Mm-hmm. Check it out. And then like him doing it, and then Francis looking at him and being like, yeah, you fucking got it. You nailed it. That's exactly what it's fucking like that. That's fucking, you know.
It's one of, when people ask me what is the best performance I've ever seen in my life, I always say it's fucking Marlon Brando and Vito Corleone.
Isn't it wild that he didn't even know his own lines?
What do you mean he didn't know his own lines?
He didn't know his own lines. A lot of the times, I don't think they showed it in the offer, but I did read about it, is a lot of the times in that scene, opening scene of The Godfather, either fucking Robert Duvall is wearing a poster on his chest when the camera's behind him.
Really?
With the lines, with the script, or it's on the table, or someone is fucking sending him. But it's a well-known fact that Marlon Brando in that time was such an eccentric actor that he wouldn't really focus on learning his lines. He'd be more show up and be like, okay, just make sure they're posted there. Same thing with Superman when he played Jor-El.
Oh, well, that makes sense because he's just like an image.
A hologram. But still, he had to talk in front of a camera in order to produce that hologram. And
I did not know that. That actually kind of makes me not respect him as much.
No, read it. Absolutely. Read it.
That he didn't fucking remember his lines.
Did not memorize his lines.
For fuck's sakes, Marlon, you fat bastard.
That's smart. But see, look at the quality of acting.
And he won the fucking Oscar for that?
Yes. And how crazy was it that he fucking sent up
the Native American
lady to accept his... That's ballsy of him. I respect him for that.
Yeah.
But he didn't memorize any of his fucking lines.
No fucking way.
Robert Duvall straight up had to have a poster with the fucking script written on him, with the camera behind him for him to be able to read them.
I mean, he is probably one of the most parodied performance in probably the history of cinema. Yep. I mean, it's just, it's the everywhere. It's everywhere when it comes to that. Yeah. And just, he was amazing. I can't believe that he didn't remember his lines. I can't believe that.
I'm convinced that Robert De Niro's entire acting career is based on an imitation of Marlon Brando. In the movie, with the lower cheeks.
That was later on in his... what are you doing?
Yeah. Meet the fuckers, you know?
These shoes?
Like that. Yeah.
These shoes? Yeah. These shoes?
You talking to me? You know, shit like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just fucking joking around. But yeah, look it up.
I will look that up. Too
bad we don't have a producer with a laptop handy that can Google this for us.
Yeah,
man, that would be real. We'd have the answer to that right now if there was a producer somewhere.
He only has one client. He's a special kind of producer.
That's true.
He doesn't even understand that. That's a
look
fucking
it up,
Godfather
and
reference.
if I'm wrong, I'll buy you a steak dinner. Yeah, that is a Godfather reference. Yeah, look it up.
Ah, man. There's more. Anything else that you want to bring up about the Godfather? Because
the score.
Oh my God. Yes.
I play that shit now, fucking daily. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
You know, when my kids were being baptized, because I was totally against them being baptized.
You didn't play
I was imagining me like murdering my, in-laws and whatnot, and like
a wild turn. Sure. I'm sure Joe would really appreciate that part. Joe, if you're still listening right now you know what Sam was thinking. But yeah, only because of the movie, right? Because of the movie. Yeah,
the priest was telling me that you denounce Satan. I was like, I do. And then in the back of my mind...
Modern Family, the TV show, did a really good parody on that scene as well. Worth watching.
When you actually watched the movie, did all those parodies came back to you?
All of those.
It was like, oh my God, that's from this. That's from that. That's from this. Oh my, this is where it's from. All this time.
If anything, I was like, these motherfuckers stole that scene from The Simpsons. There's an episode of The Simpsons where Homer's dressed in a white suit, walking down Little Italy.
Yes.
And they offer him donuts, and they're like, "Don Simpson." And I was like, "These fucking guys, Francis Ford Coppola, just fucking straight up stole something from The Simpsons." That's
the thing is, like, Noel is right now going like, "Yeah, that's right."
He's like, "Oh yeah, I know that scene
was
from
so
The
hilarious.
Simpsons.
That was such a great scene." Yeah. And he's not realizing that all of that came from The Godfather.
I think the most
he's a fucking idiot.
of the scenes. So The Simpsons, I can probably list them right now. There's a scene where Lisa wants a pony. And Homer fucks up. Homer fucks up, so to make up for it, he buys her the pony and he puts it somehow in her bed without her knowing. And like the camera zooms in through the window and she wakes up and she's like, "What the fuck?" And she moves the blanket and there's a pony head. That's the fucking Godfather right there. That scene where Homer's walking down Little Italy. What else? There's a full-on episode where Lisa falls in love with someone. And it's a little boy who ends up being... Oh, you know what? It's Fat Tony. Instead of Don Corleone, it's Fat Tony's son. And Lisa falls in love with him. And she's like, "You're the good one, right?" And he's all like, "Yes, I want nothing to do with my family." And then at the end of that episode, it turns out he's the one that orchestrated this fucking elaborate plan. And she asks him, "Did you do this?" And his response is, "Don't ever ask me about my business." And that line is another line that I'm sure you didn't know was from The Godfather, but it's that.
Don't ever ask me about my business.
Don't ever ask
so
me about
whenever
my business.
Ashley tells you, "Hey, what you been doing tonight?" You can tell her, "Don't ever ask me about my business.
Don't ever ask me about my business.
This is the only
Ashley.
time
Yes.
I'm going to let you ask me about my business.
Don't ask me about my business." Yep, it's from The Godfather. And she'll be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I want
And then when you slam the door on her, you can slam the door on her slowly.
Slow.
And then when it goes to black, let the credits roll and the
take out your cell phone right away. You take out your cell phone right away and you play the song. And she'll totally understand where it's from.
And she'll just look at you like...
She'll be like sick.
Like, this is the man I thought I knew,
Yeah.
but I don't know him anymore. And Noel goes off to edit the next Moron's Mince.
High fives, yeah. Yep.
You're fucking it up, Noel. Your life could have been... right now, you could have just
from watching this one movie.
Yeah.
That's 3 hours long.
It is 3 hours long, but it's worth it.
All it takes is 3 hours out of your day.
And I'm telling you, those 3 hours will go by super quick.
1/8.
And here's the thing, but the youth might not accept this movie as much as because it's a complicated story. It's not a simple story to follow, because you have to be paying attention because there's a lot of like betrayals and different families working. It's what if you like Game of Thrones, this is basically...
Never watched Game of Thrones.
What the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
What the I'm sorry.
I feel your anger, but chill, you're gonna wake up my kid. What the fuck? How have you not seen Game of Thrones?
Same thing.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
People are just raving about it, and it just annoys me.
You know what? I mean, honestly, the fact that you didn't have to experience, the fact that you didn't have to experience the shit
I heard about that ending.
of an ending that it was.
But here's the thing: The Godfather is not going to disappoint you like Game of Thrones will if you make it to the last 2 or 3 seasons. But what the fuck, dude? Well, here's the thing. It's so if you like the kind of complicated, lot of things. Not even that
complicated, but it
is complicated for people who, because a lot of the stuff that happens is sometimes just talked about.
That's true.
Like they talk about it and they say
betrayals.
This family hit us today and we just hit them and then you don't actually see it. You see a lot. I'm not telling you that there's no action. There's a lot of brutal things that happen. You see a lot, but there's also a lot of stuff that just gets talked about. And if you're not paying attention, you won't know why certain characters do this or that or things like that. So you gotta pay attention. But it's fucking 3 hours of greatness, man. It's great.
It really is, man. It doesn't feel like 3 hours.
It's a great movie.
It does not feel like 3 hours. Definitely watch part 1. Part 2 is absolutely also a must.
You know what? I'm kind of happy that we haven't spoiled that much. We spoiled some stuff.
Yeah, we haven't.
We spoiled one of the better scenes.
To spoil. It's not like you can come out and be like, fucking Thanos was after the Infinity Stones all along, you know? You can't say something like that.
We spoiled a lot because we spoiled a major death. We spoiled major scene.
Doesn't matter. Without them knowing who this character is, it's going to wash away in the fucking
forget
nothingness.
about it. Forget about what I just said.
You don't have to even tell him. I'm sure he's already forgotten half of the names we've mentioned, right? Give me 2 names we've mentioned right now.
something Corleone or whatever.
Okay, that's one. Yeah, something.
My heart breaks by the fact that
something
he just
Corleone. At least you got Corleone right. You didn't say Calzone or some shit. Yeah. What's the other one? What's another name?
Clemenza, Tessio.
You did, yeah,
sure.
Fucking Domino's, you know, Trader Joe's. Any of those would have worked, but yeah, it's fucking great movie. Watch it.
A+, A++. It really is one of the greatest movies of all time. Yeah. I'm not gonna tell you it's the best movie of all time because that just doesn't really exist, but it's one of the great ones. It's one of the great ones, and you should fucking watch it. If you're watching this video and you haven't watched that movie, shame on you. Shame. Just go kill yourself right now, honestly.
And if you have watched it, go watch The Offer on Paramount.
Yes.
That show also just added to how great this movie was. Because
that movie almost didn't exist.
Yeah.
Basically,
like 15 times, it almost didn't exist. Not just the one time.
It almost didn't exist.
There were mafia and fucking murder and money and coke, lots of coke. Definitely want to watch that show. But
I don't think that. Yeah, there was. Was there coke?
The main guy from Paramount.
Yeah.
He went on a bit of a bender, but
yeah. He was having some relationship problems.
You gotta watch it.
It happens.
You gotta watch it. If not, just watch the fucking Godfather. Yeah.
Yeah. We really minced this one up.
I think we did, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have gone for way longer.
We could have gone for an hour. I think we could keep going more, but I really don't want to spoil it more for Noel. And hopefully, when we do the Godfather Part 2, maybe he'll be a guest and he'll be a changed man.
He can actually add to the show. Give some input.
Not happening. Son of a bitch. You got to watch it. We're going to watch it. How much do I have to pay you, honestly?
$0.
$0? Okay, I'll pay you $0 to watch it. Easy.
Never watch
it.
You gotta watch it. Come on.
Do you have a pet horse that you are really fond of? No.
No.
Okay, then there's no way. I'm out of ideas.
Yeah. We can make son of a bitch.
Anyway.
All right then. All right. Well, this is Morons Mince Movies. Signing off.
No, we're not doing that. Okay.
We're not doing that.
No.
All right. Get the cannolis.
Oh, this. I'll get the gabagool.
No, get the cannolis.
The gabagool.
The gabagool? What the fuck is that from?
That's from The Sopranos.
What the fuck?
It's from The Office.
How dare you fucking do that shit?
They mentioned gabagool, by the way, in the fucking Godfather movie.
Hey, the bafandu you.
No, they say, hey, get the gabagool. Trust me. Get the gabagool. Get the cannolis.
All right. Good night.
Adios.